Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carry Cut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I sure do appreciate you stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, also leave a comment down below, and also check us out on Instagram at Carry Cut. And we do have a TikTok now, so if you search us up on there at Carry Cut, really would appreciate it. So today, got a disassembly and maintenance video on this Finch roadrunner. If you guys missed the full review of this, make sure you go check that out. It should be probably the last video that we actually uploaded. So this was sent to me by Steven Weigel and his little man Dom. So Steven, Dom, really appreciate you guys sending this over to me. I know it's been a little bit of a while in the making, but we're back at it now. So this should be a pretty simple knife here to disassemble. It's going to be, just like any other frame lock other than the onlays that it has. So it shouldn't be too bad. And then also one thing that I did miss on the review, I know I told you it glows in the dark, but see if we can go ahead and capture this on camera a little bit. If we go ahead and light up this shield right there, I don't know if you can see that turn green. Oh yeah, it's pretty sweet. Really do like that. My kids sure do love it too. So, all right, let's go ahead and start here with the clip side. This is going to be, it should be pretty simple here. We got T6 on the pocket clip, and we got T6 for the actual body screws. Damn, those things are tight. Those things got some serious torque on them, I guess. They must have never disassembled this one before, so let's see if we can get this other driver on it, see if it makes any difference. Ooh, there it went. Had some serious Loctite going on there. It actually busted out of the side. Yep, broke the tip of my T6 off. Dang, that was not Loctite. That was just the tip of my T6 coming off there. Dang, that was pretty impressive. These are Weehaw bits, and it's starting to... Why in the heck is that thing so tight? What are we going to have to get on that one? Well, sometimes we got this handy-dandy little soldering iron here. This is what I use this for sometimes when you get some real crazy stubborn bolts. You can go ahead and use this to heat up the actual head of the nut itself. So if you guys never seen this method, it should at least kind of melt the Loctite in there, I guess, if you will, something like that. It's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and let that tip get nice and hot. When I got my new PM2 there a while back ago, the pivot was incredibly, they had some serious Loctite going on that thing. And I had to do this to actually get the bolts loose. So I wasn't trying to make this a longer form video, but it looks like this. I was just checking this out right here. This backspacer. Oh, darn thing went out on me. Let me get this going again. Must be burning real clean now. The flame went away, but I guess it's still light and red hot in there. Alright, hopefully I'm not boring you guys too much with this part of the video. Let's see if we can get both of them heated up. This is some advanced measures here. You really don't want to strip these out. That would really suck. This should do the trick if we can get it nice and hot in there. See if we can go ahead and melt that Loctite and try to do something here. I'm definitely getting nice and warm. Hopefully that isn't a foreshadowing thing for what's going to happen with the rest of the knife either. That would be kind of a pain in the butt. I don't know if it's just me or if I just want to touch that tip to make sure it's actually hot, but I'm going to be go ahead and use my better judgment, and I'm going to reckon that it's probably pretty dang warm. All right, let's see if that's going to be enough. Pop these things out. Make sure you cover that back up. This has been a pretty handy tool right here. All right. There we go. Making some headway now. Man, that thing is really in there. They definitely put the Loctite on that one. This thing's gonna be hot. Oh, and figure, look at that one. That one came out without a problem right there whatsoever. So, yep, there's their blue Loctite they used. Crisis averted on that one. that soldering iron, that comes in clutch right there. So this is an old Radio Shack. If you guys remember Radio Shacks, one of my good buddies actually gave this to me. So that thing came in handy more than one time. Came in clutch. All right. So that, well, these are actually going to be different sizes right here. So let's go ahead and set this one off to the side. This longer one is going to be going through the actual barrel space right there. So that is an important one to keep note of, especially when you go to do your reassembly. So we're definitely not going to need to put that much Loctite on it, but I do understand why they did it. So this is a perfect example of why you pay attention to taking your knives apart, because right there we have 3 different size screws already. And that one came right out, not an issue. I don't see if, I don't know if that one really even has to come off or not. I imagine you could probably actually keep those ones in there and just take the actual frame lock off. We'll go ahead and see what happens. All right, so let's get our T8 popped out of there, put this back in. See how difficult this one is to get out. Not difficult at all. All right. So there we got the pivot out. Well, let's see here what we can, oh. There must be a screw underneath of that right there. Let's see if we can get our little snap-on screwdriver out here and see if we can learn this trick from taking apart PM2s. Maybe. Like these buggers are glued in there. Are they glued in? They are glued in. Interesting. But how are you supposed to get to... Well, maybe that screw just goes all the way through. Maybe you aren't supposed to take those off there. Well, we just did. How in the world? Maybe that's just like a captive deal on that one. Well, regardless, we should be able to get this thing apart now. Well, we'll just go ahead and take that one off there. I think I might have already screwed that one up, but it won't make no big deal. No difference in it whatsoever. Let's see if we can push this pivot out the other side. Get this T6 on there. All right. So there's one half of our knife right there. One half of the actual scale. I'm really thinking we don't need to take that off there whatsoever. Nope, that thing just sits in there just like so. So it's actually not, it is threaded, which is kind of strange, but it's not threaded into anything per se. So we could go ahead and run this these T6s right back into this scale here. That's unfortunate. Really thought that I was going to have to take that apart. I thought that there was going to be something holding that on the bottom side, or underside of that, but you live and you learn. Just threaded on for show. Yep, that's just kind of like a, well, they're glued on, but they're also held on by that too. So pretty interesting. Never seen that one done before. I thought it would just kind of sit on there and be mounted on, not actually. I've never seen the actual, whatever you want to call that, your standoff, sit like that either. So we do have some really small bearings in here. So that's pretty interesting to see. Never seen a set of bearings that small. So let's go ahead and take our blade out. And it's going to be really important you actually put the, there's kind of like a cupped side on these washers right here. If you can see that lip right there, those are going to go inside of the actual race of that blade right there. So it'll be sitting there just like that. All right, so we'll set those off to the side. Those are some tiny, tiny bearings. And we do have a captive pivot. Always nice to see. Really do appreciate that when the knife companies do that for us. And we're just going to go ahead and leave that screw in there since we don't have to take this thing off there whatsoever. So why don't we go ahead and, there really isn't too many moving parts right there. We do have a stop pin that rides, and there's actual channels on the handles, scales themselves, I guess you could say. Not scales, but yeah, we'll just say handles. How about that? So we'll go ahead and get our alcohol out here. See if we can clean this thing up a little bit. It wasn't too dirty. The action was awesome on these knives. That's one thing about Finch knives. My other favorite Finch knife that they have is called the Buffalo Tooth. So if you guys have ever seen that one, make sure you go check that out. It is a really awesome knife. It's real big and chunky. There was some classic knives made with that kind of pattern and it is really cool looking. It's got a real thick, wide blade on it, and it's not very, it's pretty stout, short, but it's really cool frame lock. So if you guys would, make sure you go check that one out. I will have this link down in the description below, at least this knife and all the tools that I have. This awesome little toolkit, these Weehaw bits and that driver came from TRM. So the folks over there at TRM hooked me up with that, and can't say enough good things about those guys. All right, got our little slot for our detent bolt right there, which is going to be real nice. This thing does have really awesome flipping action, just great action overall. All right, go clean that up. This is a very stabby blade shape, and it does come down to a very fine tip right there at the point. All right, go ahead and clean this one up there, a little scrub a dub. I don't know what I was thinking about taking those screws out of there. I thought that would really be a real big piece of it I have to worry about, but it ended up not being nothing whatsoever. Okay, so now we're getting back into something here. So let's go ahead and take our pivot here, captive pivot, make sure we line that up with the D slot, just like so. Easy enough. Whoop. Maybe. There, we got it. All right, we're going to take one of our bearings here. Make sure we get him nice and polished, cleaned up. It's pretty good. Go ahead and slide him down in there. Just like so. We're going to go ahead and use a little bit of KPL on there. Not a lot, just enough. Pretty interesting design they have going in on here. And then we're going to throw our blade down, just like so. And then we're going to go in here with our other bearing. Tiny little bit more KPL on there. Like I say, I don't think there's going to be much actually making the action better on this knife, but it's already pretty fantastic. All right. So now we're getting back into something here. So let's go ahead and throw, it's kind of crazy how they have this worked out here. We need to put our clip back in. So our longest screw is going to go into the actual barrel spacer on the back. So let's just go ahead and start that one on there. We'll put a little more Loctite on this one. This is the brand of Loctite that I like to use. It's the actual Loctite brand, but the form of it is going to be this like glue stick looking thing. And just a little bit easier than the actual liquid, I think personally. So let's go ahead and throw this one in the long side so we can get the back of the knife secured. And this one's going to go on the shorter side on the front. Or other hole, I guess you could say. Man, I'm really tore up about that T6. I've had those things for 3 years now, never had one break. I'm glad that TRM sent me this other care package with this Weehaw bit driver, because I'd be in very rough shape without that T6. Make sure you guys are putting these in. I always like to back them off at first, just so you make sure that you're getting a good start on it. So we won't crank those down too hard yet. We'll go ahead and go back over to our T8 for this pivot screw. And we'll go ahead and put a little bit more jam on there. All right, we'll go ahead and start running this pivot down. We'll just tighten it and then back it off just a skosh. All right, so let's go ahead. We got perfect blade centering going on there. Let's go ahead and tighten up our clip. Make sure those are snugged up. They don't need to be 150 foot-pounds like they were. All right, I think, oh yeah, centering is perfect on there. I don't know what this goo we got going on there is. I don't know if that's just some might have just been some old Loctite that was in there. All right, it's not too bad. Action is perfect. Front flipper works well. Awesome, I guess you could say. Let's say action. It's not exactly drop shut, but it's definitely there. I don't know if loosening that up is going to do anything for us or not, but perfect blade centering. Super solid lockup. No up and down, no side to side. All right, and we really hope you guys might have learned something from this one. This is going to be another awesome model from Finch Knives. Really do appreciate it. And thanks, Steven. Thanks, Don, for sending this over to me. It means the world. And yeah, really do appreciate it. Till next time. Thanks, guys.